So you want to learn how to make a chromatic? Well, you came to the right video, because I got a stupidly simple guide on how to do this. By the end of this video, you should have a very nice and functional chromatic. Here's an example. Alright, let's get right to it. So, the first step for making a chromatic is getting your hands on the samples needed for the chromatic. Now, for the sake of this video, I'll be recording my own, and I'll walk you through the process and show you how it's done. When it comes to actually recording your own voice, you're gonna need to find a program that allows you to do that. Now, in this case, I'm using Audacity, but you can use any app as long as it records your microphone. As for the stuff that you'll be recording in here, we'll be saying 5 vowels. These are the go-to vowels when making a chromatic. We'll be saying A, E, I, O, U. Now, you are by no means locked to only saying these. You can be really creative with it, which is the fun part of making chromatics. There are some really creative ones out there. When you're recording the samples, you need to make sure that each vowel is long and clear. Here's an example that I recorded. A, E, I, O, U. Okay, now that we got our samples, we'll now be heading over to FL Studio. Now that we're in FL Studio, the next step is to drag in the samples. Here's the samples I recorded. E, as you can hear. Now look in the top left and you'll see a bunch of icons. Pick the slice tool. After selecting the slice tool, you then want to zoom in and look at your sample. We're going to be doing specific cuts on each vowel. Basically what we're doing is we're cutting off the start of the vowel so we can get to the vowel instantly. That means when each note is played, it'll play that sound instantly. So we're going to do that for every single vowel in the sample. Make sure to also cut between each vowel to cut out the empty spaces between. Now once you've done that, it should look something like this. Now, what you want to do is that you want to copy all the samples. Our goal here is to have at least 40 to 45 samples copy-pasted. Here's an example of how you do it and how it should look like. Once you've aligned all the samples, you'll now need to go save all these samples as one WAV file. Go to File, select Export, WAV. After you've exported the samples, you'll then need to go find it and drag it into FL Studio. It should look like this. Now that you've got your sample, you now want to press the top left of the sample. The next option you want to pick is Pitch Correct Sample. This will open up New Tone, which is the process of auto-tuning this sample. Now you should see all your samples in New Tone. Now first things first, look at the top right. There are 3 knobs. We're going to turn the middle knob all the way down, the left one all the way to the right. Once you've turned the knobs, the next step is to mark all your samples. Press Ctrl A to mark everything in New Tone, and then, if you look on the left side, you should see the piano roll. Press either C2 or C3. Now this all depends on how the samples sound when you test them. For example, if you select C2 and you notice how laggy it sounds, then it's probably not the best option. I'd highly recommend C3. Now, when you've aligned them all to C3, you now want to build a staircase, like this. All chromatics are ascending. So it starts from C3 and goes all the way up, in this case, to C6. So yeah, do exactly just this. When you've run out of samples and you've finished your staircase, you've officially made a chromatic. Now you just gotta save it. Look at the top right for the little saving icon. Save it as a WAV file. Then you are officially done, which means you have a chromatic scale. You now want to add SONIC.EXE. Look at the top for the button called View Channel Rack. Once Channel Rack is opened, go to the plus at the bottom of the channel rack and add SONIC.EXE from there. Now that you have opened SONIC.EXE, you now want to drag the chromatic into SONIC.EXE. Once you've done that, you should now see all your samples nicely lined up. Next, look at the lower left to see the arrow. Press the arrow and select Regions, Auto Slice, and Dull Auto Slice. Once you've done that, you should now see a bunch of yellow markers. If you see some of the markers stuck inside your samples, remove them. Here's an example of how this should look like. This is bad. This is good. Once you've cleaned up your sample, you can now start using it in a pattern. Here's an example of how you do that. Add an empty pattern, open up your channel rack once more, look to the right of SONIC.EXE, and you should see some dots. Press one of those. Now that you've done that, double click on the pattern, and you can now place notes. You place these notes, and you can make little songs out of them. So yeah, I think that about covers how I make my own chromatics. Now remember, like I said, you can get really creative with it, so try your best. One thing that's very important to know is that you get better over time. You get better at recording samples, you get better at gathering samples. You can make chromatics out of almost any sound. There's endless creativity here. So it's up to you about how creative you want to be. Thank you for watching. I hope it was helpful at least a little bit. If you have any further questions, ask me in the comments and I'll try and see what I can do. If anything, leave a like on the video, subscribe for more content, and I'll see all of you in my next video. Take care, everybody. Yow!